Welcome back for another video. The Roundup is a series on this channel that arms you with useful information to take into each game week to arrive at better decisions. This includes the top players for predicted points, the bookies odds, transfer trends and more. An accumulation of smaller but correct decisions can have a significant impact over the course of the season. Just before we jump in, today's video is sponsored by OneFootball, which is a free app on both iOS and Android. A link to the app's at the top of the description. From an FPL perspective, I recommend giving it a try, not just because it supports the channel, but it's a genuinely good app for its features such as the lineups, live scores, goal scorers, assists, news and more. When you first open the app, it'll ask you which team is your favourite, or if you don't have one you can simply skip the step. You can also favourite competitions such as the Premier League. Thank you again to OneFootball. To download the app, simply hit the link at the top of the description. Enjoy the video. We'll start with the Goalscorer Odds, and the odds given are always based on the assumption that the player starts, and this is sometimes not the case. Salah tops the Goalscorer Odds this week with a 53% chance of scoring any time according to the bookies. He faces the Saints after an upset last week as they conceded 2 in a 2-1 loss to Norwich. Salah's topped this season for big chances created, shots in the box and expected goal involvement. Aubameyang is second for the fixture against Newcastle at the Emirates. He's not scored in his last 3 appearances, but he faces Newcastle, who are second worst for expected goals conceded over the season. Vardy is another player in a dry spell, but has a 44.5% chance of scoring any time against Watford, up against his former manager Ranieri. Jota and Foden make the top 10 and are very reasonably priced assets to have, especially in Jota's case while Firmino's out with an injury. Jota's 4th for expected goal involvement among all midfielders this season, despite his limited minutes. Onto the clean sheet odds, and Liverpool joint top with Man City this week, both with a 45% chance. Man City face West Ham and both sides will face each other off the back of a midweek European fixture. City certainly have the depth and it could be a tough game for the Hammers. Chelsea have a 43% chance of shutting Man United out. However, they'll be seriously missing Chilwell in the form he's been in. Tottenham's good run of fixtures continues, and this week Conte's side have a 36% chance away at Burnley. Brighton have a 34% chance according to the bookies against Leeds, off the back of a 2-0 loss. However, they'll be boosted by the return of Sanchez after serving his suspension. Southampton and West Ham unsurprisingly sit rock bottom this game week for those away games against Liverpool and Man City respectively. Leeds have been given a 21.5% chance of a clean sheet, and those who jumped on Kane or Son will be hoping this is the game week they come good. Onto the predicted points, and it's Salah who's clear in front with 7.3 predicted points, second being his teammates Mane and Trent. We've discussed in the past what incredible value Trent represents, with predicted points often on par to Mane and Salah and yet significantly cheaper. And it's the value players that we should target as a route up the ranks. Son finds his way into the top for predicted points on 5.5 points. He's produced double-digit points in each of his last 3 appearances against Burnley. However, both him and Kane haven't scored since Gameweek 8. Lukaku makes the top 10, who is now back from injury and could get a nod for the United game or perhaps a cameo off the bench. Foden was absent from the Man City squad that faced PSG at home, as was Grealish, and the Man City statement was that the two of them were both short of full fitness for the game. Jimenez and Kane are also tied with Foden on 5 predicted points. Onto the most transferred players, and for Gameweek 13, Reece James is the most transferred in player, with over 300,000 picking him up. He scored again in the Champions League and had an all-round man of the match performance. James is the highest value player in the game currently, returning 12.3 points per million. Trent is another defender with huge attacking potential, and he's a no-brainer to pick up as Liverpool have a very good run of fixtures from here on. Gallagher has an expected goal involvement of 5.2 for the season, which is the 6th highest among all midfielders. And Palace are another team with a good run of fixtures, so he's a great option too. St Maximin got a goal and an assist in Gameweek 12, which notched him to 55 points for the season, and he's the 3rd highest scoring striker for only 6.8 mil. Both him and Wilson look like great options, especially in Gameweek 14 and 15 where they play Norwich and Burnley at home. Onto the most transferred out, and it's Antonio who's the most sold this week, with over 170,000 selling the West Ham striker, and his teammate Benrahma is second. Antonio has 1 goal in his last 6 and Benrahma has just 1 assist in his last 7. Gray unfortunately picked up an injury in the Man City match last game week, so it's no surprise to see him on the list. Likewise Tielemans, who's been ticking along and is expected to be out until around Gameweek 16, and just shy of 100,000 managers have sold him. Duffy is a surprise to see on the most sold list, right before a good looking fixture against Leeds at home, and some reasonable upcoming games to start him in. We'll finish the roundup as always with the captaincy poll results. Thanks to everyone who voted on the poll on our Discord. If you'd like to join, the link is in the description. The results are in and they are as follows. Once again, Salah dominates the captaincy poll with 88.2% of your vote. Interestingly, Trent comes in second with 3.5% of the vote. Trent is the second highest scoring player in the game, and he has 5 double-digit returns this season, and only Salah has more with 6. Elsewhere, the votes are sparse with 2% opting for James, and it looks like those who we saw punt on Son and Kane last week have been deterred by their disappointing performance. Once again, it looks like those of us captaining Salah will be counting on the other 10 players to make up the ground. Thank you for watching this Gameweek's episode of the Roundup. If you found it useful, please hit like to support the channel and hit subscribe if you're not already. I read every comment, so as always I'm keen to hear your thoughts.